All right, so here we're on chapter 7, section 1 on logic. So we're learning about propositions and connectives, truth tables, and then logical implications and equivalences. All right, so what is a proposition? Well, it's a statement. It's not a question or command that is true or false. So it can't be anything else. It has to be true or it has to be false. Now we have a truth table, and that's used to specify compound propositions. So we're going to have a proposition that's combined with other propositions or something like that. And so the first thing we're going to look at is called a negation. So if P is a proposition, and the way we're going to label this is we're going to make a table, and this is going to be our proposition, P, then the proposition not P with the line down is read not P, and that's the negation of P is false if P is true and true if P is false. So we have P not P, or basically the opposite of it. So if we have true, then not P is false. If we start with false, then we have true. Okay. Now a disjunction. So if P and Q are propositions, then the proposition P, and then this symbol here is or, is the disjunction of P and Q is true if P is true or Q is true, or if both are true and false otherwise. Okay, so how we do this, and this is going to be how you set up a lot of tables, is our P usually goes first, then our Q, and then we start putting all of our conjoined propositions together. So P, we usually go true, true, false, false. Then the Q goes true, false, true, false. And then we look and say, okay, it has to be true either P or Q or both. Well, here both of them are true, so that's true. Here that one's true, so it's true. Now this one's true, so it's true. Now they're both false, so that's false. Okay, so that's a disjunction. Now we have a conjunction. Now again, if P and Q are propositions, so we're going to have the same two first columns here as we did in the last one. But now we have P, and this is called and it's called the conjunction of P and Q. And it's true if both P and Q are true, otherwise it's false. So when we do our true, true, false, false, true, false, true, false, only time it's true is when they're both true. Everything else is false. Okay. And again, these tables and these ones we're looking at initially here, these are things you kind of have to memorize and kind of understand and get to know, because then eventually we're going to combine them and we're going to get really long things. So we might have like, something that goes from here all the way over to here, and we have to do all the pieces in between. And so what we have to do is we have to make a column for each individual piece, and then at the very end, combine them all together. All right, what about conditional? So if P and Q again are propositions, so nothing's changing on those P's and Q's, then the proposition if P then Q, this is how that's read, if P then Q, or the conditional with the hypothesis P and the conclusion Q, so hypothesis P, conclusion Q, is false if P is true and Q is false. Otherwise, it's going to be true. So only when it's true then false is it going to be false. Well, true, true, that's going to be true. True, false, that's the key piece here. So that's going to be false. False, true, and false, false, those can both be true. Now, these last two, whenever the hypothesis is false, we say that the conditional if P then Q is vacuously true. So these two are going to be this vacuously true statement. So, because of their false, then it can be the way, and so that's going to be true. Okay, so that's conditional. Now we have converse and contrapositive. So if we let if P then Q be a conditional proposition, then the proposition going the other direction, if Q then P, is called the converse of if P then Q. So it's just the converse going opposite. Now the proposition not Q, if not Q, then not P, is called the contrapositive of if P then Q. So Q then P is the converse, and not Q then not P is the contrapositive. So again, just some wording things so you know what they mean when we actually get to doing these and the problems themselves. All right, so let's pause there and we'll come back with some problems.